I just celebrated my work anniversary with Modern. I've now been in the travel industry for 14 years. Every year has been completely different. Here's the big lessons that I learned in 2023, in no particular order. Number one, the things that worked last year weren't necessarily the things that worked this year, which means the things that worked this year aren't necessarily going to be the things that work next year. Whether you're talking about marketing, where a small change on Facebook or Google can completely change your ability to reach your clients, or you're talking about leadership and how you can inspire your team, or even if you're talking about the destinations that you're selling. You know, the popular destinations of last year aren't necessarily going to be the same this year or next year. In 2024, I'm making sure that, yes, I'm going to focus the majority of my time on our core competencies, but I'm also going to set aside, let's say 10%, 20% of my time to test new things, to find the next thing that's going to carry us next year and the year after that. Because again, the same things that worked in the past aren't guaranteed to continue working now. And number two, no matter how much time I spend cultivating relationships in the industry, I have to spend more time doing it. It's probably the single most important thing. Not just the obvious, of course, of building relationships with your clients, making them feel heard and appreciated and providing them sort of like a unique value, but building relationships with our partners, right? It's so important to have contacts at the resorts that you can reach out to before your clients get there or once your clients are there to solve problems. And the reality is, if you've ever seen the inbox of somebody working at a resort, it's absolutely insane. And the better relationships you have with them, the more likely you are to get bumped to the top in the email waiting list. And of course, building relationships with other agents in the industry. There's so much that we can learn and share from one another. It's something that's super important to me and on my radar for focusing on next year. The third most important thing I learned this year was that I already know what I need to do. I don't need to read more books. I don't need to listen to more podcasts. I don't need to learn more things. It's not a knowledge problem. It's an execution problem. I have to do the things that I know I need to do, which typically means I need to start doing the things I need to do, and I need to finish doing the things that I need to do, right? Starting and finishing are the two things that I realize that I need to work on this coming year. So less procrastination, more starting, less perfectionism, more finishing. And I think the fourth most important thing that I learned this year was just the importance of staying organized and structured. Whether that is a Google sheet that has all of my projects that I can break up into smaller tasks so I can stay organized and see what I'm working on, whether that's an app like Sunsama, which I've really enjoyed, that I can break all my projects and tasks and organize them by day and even by calendar and do time blocks and slot it. I just have to stay organized and do a better job of knowing what my most important tasks are, what I have to accomplish each day, because otherwise projects drag on. Something that was supposed to be done on Tuesday drags on to Wednesday, to Thursday, to Friday. And it's just good to know all the things that I need to do in an organized location. I don't have to memorize all of them. I can put them all down. I can look at them and then I can plan accordingly. So this coming year, that's another thing I'm going to focus on, is getting more organized, staying more structured, doing a better job of hitting my deadlines, because otherwise things get put off and procrastination is a problem. And of course, this doesn't cover everything that I learned this year. These are just sort of four of the big points that I'm going to keep on the top of my mind heading into 2024. I hope this list is helpful for you. If it's not the same task that you're dealing with, I hope it just maybe gives you an opportunity to break down your list of what you've learned this year, kind of review, focus on what you need to work on next year, because it's the perfect time at the end of the year to kind of review and say, okay, what did I do well? What maybe didn't I do well? What can I improve upon? And then put in actionable steps that you can take to move the ball forward this coming year. This episode of the Modern Travel Agent Podcast is brought to you by our partnership with Palladium Hotel Group. If you haven't checked out the previous episode, I covered TRS Coral and the Grand Palladium Costa Mujeres, talk about the unique selling points, kind of just highlight the properties to kind of give you an idea of what they offer. Palladium Hotel Group is a great partner of ours. They have some great product. If you don't know about them, check them out. If you already do sell them, learn more about them. They've got some great resorts that your clients will absolutely love. I hope you all had a great 2023, and I wish you all nothing but success in 2024.